Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before you ask, no, I didn't get beat up. This is mom life when you have a 3-year-old son. This morning my son went to give me a hug and he decided that he was gonna lead with his head and he busted my lip. That's what you have to look forward to when you have a son, or at least in my house. That's what you have to look forward to. But it's happened before. I have had 3 toddlers so far, and 2 out of the 3 have busted my lip multiple times. That's just mom life. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Sierra the BB Doula, and today I want to talk to you about something super exciting. We're going to talk about the lowdown on gut health. But before we begin, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment, and share if you like what you are learning. So today I want to be real transparent with y'all. Again, here I am sitting here with a busted lip on a Wednesday while wearing my NC State shirt. Go Pack! Woohoo! But I want to talk about gut health. And the reason that I'm sharing this information is because I've been dealing with some gut issues for a couple months now. And it started, I want to say, maybe in late June this year. My gut has been fine, haven't had a problem for years, but I decided that I was going to up and cleanse this summer. I usually do cleanses a couple times a year, but this year was different because I decided to do a parasite cleanse, and I haven't done one of those since I was 25. But here I am, 34, very close to 35, and I decided that I was going to do a parasite cleanse. Y'all, my gut went crazy. The whole thing, it just went crazy. And so I started having all these weird symptoms and things were happening. A bit of TMI, but stuff was happening. When I went to the bathroom, you can piece that together. And I was like, what is going on? I was having all these weird stomach pains and just didn't really feel well. Not to mention, right now, I'm dealing with low iron, which is something that I've struggled with for a long time, had issues with that even back in college, which was a long time ago. But, so I went to the doctor and I went to see a naturopath because I wanted to make sure everything was good and everything was okay outside of having this issue with low iron. But the parasite cleanse completely wrecked my gut. And yeah, I had to then go back and start fixing things to try to get everything back on track. Now, why is gut health important? Well, the gut is thought to be your second immune system. So if your gut is not in line and it's not functioning properly, then you may have issues with catching colds. You can have all sorts of stuff happening inside of your stomach, like you could be dealing with some IBS type symptoms. Some people that have Crohn's disease can relate to having a lot of those stomach issues, diverticulitis. The people that have, gut sensitivities to where they can't eat certain foods without it bothering their stomachs. People who have, things related to food allergies. So if they eat a certain food, especially dairy, it causes problems for their stomachs. And those who deal with things like candida, that's like yeast. So if you're dealing with a lot of issues with recurrent yeast infections, it could be coming from your gut. And again, like I said, people who have colds and those who are always sick and dealing with other issues can relate to having gut problems. Now, the good thing about me is that I do not tend to be a person who gets sick very often. I'm not a person that catches colds very frequently or anything like that. But since I had my daughter in 2009, my gut has had a lot of issues because when I had my C-section, the doctor found a lot of scarring all over my fallopian tubes, but it was also on parts of my bowel. And, all of that stuff just tended to affect my gut. So, since 2009, I have battled with gut issues off and on, but I've been able to control them by changing my diet and making sure that I don't eat certain things. Well, after doing this parasite cleanse, I developed a wheat allergy. I've always been a little gluten sensitive, but when doing this here parasite cleanse, I ended up getting a rash all over my leg. So I got this really weird rash that started happening on the back of my knees on both sides, and I was like, what is going on? Went to see the naturopath, and she said, yeah, I think you might be allergic to wheat. Fun times. So, gluten-free, again, for me. I have gone gluten-free multiple times before. This is nothing new. Like I said, my gut was a little sensitive to gluten before, and I could eat it for a little while as long as I took time off. So usually I would eat gluten for maybe 3 months and come off it for 3 months and go back on and come off. And it was a continual process, and that worked fine for me. However, after this parasite cleanse, no more wheat. So here are some of the things that I am doing and have done that have helped me to feel a lot better. So like I said before, I was having some stomach issues. My stomach just wasn't feeling right. It was kind of painful. And I was really just trying to figure out how to get everything back in balance. And here is what I did. Now, this is not something that was told to me to do by the doctor or the naturopath. This is just what I decided to do for myself. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a health coach and an herbalist, and a doula, a fertility and birth doula. So I kind of put myself on my own regimen. That's what I always do. When I have an issue, I fix it myself. That's just what I do. So here's what I did. The first thing I started with was taking a probiotic, and I hope you can see this is Gyrodophilis probiotic and prebiotic. You can find this in the cold section in a lot of your health food stores like Whole Foods. We happen to have a smaller health food store here where I live, and that is where I got mine from. It is cold and it needs to be refrigerated because it has live cultures in it. Again, it has probiotics and prebiotics in it. If you're going to buy a probiotic, it's best to get the kind that have live cultures, not the ones that are on the shelf, because if it's needing to be refrigerated, like things like kimchi and kombucha and all of the things with live cultures, yogurt as well, need to be refrigerated. So if something has live cultures, you're not going to just sit it on the shelf. So that should be a sign for you. If you want to get a good probiotic, make sure that it is in the refrigerated section and keep it cold. Now, the next thing that I started doing was to also take some supplements. However, let me just say this. Let me back up just a little bit. So if you're going to use probiotics, the way that I do it, especially with this one, is to use it first thing in the morning when I wake up. I drink some water with this other supplement that I have with L-glutamine. And this is gut L-glutamine, and none of these companies are paying me, but this is just what I'm using. This is gut L-glutamine, and it is really, really good. I take about a teaspoon of this in 8 ounces of water every morning, along with my probiotic, and I take these two right after I get up, and I drink them. And then in about 30 minutes, I will have my juice. So I'm a juicer. In the morning, I will have juice, especially since I'm dealing with my iron deficiency. Excuse me. My iron levels are a 10. They need to be a 13. So it's not too bad, but I've just been juicing a lot of beets recently and a lot more greens, making sure that I'm getting those greens in. The other thing that I'm doing is to take collagen. Now, collagen is something that a lot of people have been talking about for hair growth, for nails, and for skin elasticity. And I've heard lots of good things. I've heard that it's really good. Thankfully, I don't really have a problem in any of those areas. My hair tends to grow pretty well. My nails tend to grow pretty well, and I don't really have saggy skin at this point. But you know, it can't hurt. So I've been taking it, and gelatin kind of coats the stomach. A lot of people will tell you to eat bone broth. Bone broth is great when you're dealing with stomach issues, but gelatin is something that you can also use because it's going to coat those holes that you have in your stomach if you have leaky gut, and it's also going to kind of soothe your digestive tract. So what I do is to drink some of this in my tea. And if you know, I have an Etsy store. I make my own teas. So when I'm drinking my tea, I add 2 scoops of gelatin and some honey. If I add honey, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And then I stir it up and then I drink it. And it's been helping a lot. So that powerful trio has been a wonderful combination. It's helped me so much and I feel so much better. So if you're dealing with gut issues, and you want to try something, maybe that will work for you, maybe it won't. This is just what works for me. As I always say, try to figure out what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're having gut issues, or you were and you found a way to fix yours, please share what you did with me. Let me know in the comments. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.